Stellar Blade has been taking the internet by storm lately because there has been a lot of controversy on the main character of the game being over-sexualized or appeasing the male gaze. I wanted to take a look at this today and I wanted to know what you guys think about it down below afterwards. We're going to talk about it again in just a second. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's start off by showing you exactly what the problem is. If I go on Twitter and I search just above my face cam over here, if I want to type in just Stellar Blade, okay? I'll type in Stellar Blade. Hashtag Stellar Blade is one of the first things that come up, okay? So the top, and you know what? I'll go, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where the problem kind of comes in because the first thing that comes up is bow down to Eve. And of course, the best thing about this, or suppose like the best thing or the problem is, depending on which way you want to look at it, is the character. Obviously the character in this, I don't know if they're going to, okay, it's just showing the model over here. You get the point. I'm going to go over to media and hopefully I don't have to cut the video. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep. Definitely not scrolling through there, but you get where the problem is coming from over here. If I want to scroll down a little bit, you can see a lot of, and this is something that actually, this isn't a tweet that I grabbed because I grabbed a few tweets about the topic and I was going to talk about them and react to them, but I actually really like this tweet. Just because those people are ugly doesn't mean we can't have beauty. That's actually something to take into consideration moving forward because a lot of people are really upset that this character looks the way she does. Now, is it appealing to the male gaze? Absolutely. It's something that we're going to take a look at now. And this is obviously the model based off of the character in game. It's something else that we can take into consideration because people talk about this being unrealistic, but it's based off of a real person. So you can see that there's also people talking about how there's great gameplay added throughout it. And you can see, like, I wish we could see a little bit more of the thing that I'm kind of talking about here. Yeah, this is a very good example. So you can see the character is very over-sexualized. And I don't know how much of these is art because I'm not familiar about the game myself. This is exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. This is, guys, go buy Stellar Blade for the photo mode. There's a photo mode. Oh my god. But yeah, this is 20 seconds long and you can see this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about over here. How the character looks, how the character behaves when you walk through the game. The graphics are nice. The character looks very real. And for, like, I don't know how else to say it. The character looks very nice. You know what I mean? I had to do a little bit of a quick cut there because I didn't realize that that was playing music. But you guys get the point. You guys get the point of what I'm talking about. So I gathered a few tweets, and actually, a friend of mine pointed this out to me, and this is why I wanted to make a video on this, because I went looking around at this, and this is actually really something huge that's trending right now. And now, I wanted to take a look at a tweet from the Actman, W the Actman. If you haven't seen the Actman, has a fantastic channel. I see people complaining about Stellar Blade and how the video game characters are sexualized. Some folks think it's a major problem, but sexualizing characters in media is a successful marketing tactic, and I hate to break it to you, but that's the way it is. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. And again, I will give my thoughts on this afterwards because I have a little bit of conflicting opinions on this, but I wanted to take a look at, and this is part of the Clenversations channel, man. I wanted to take a look at what a lot of people are talking about. To take a look at some replies here. Hate to break it to you, but I love them. Yeah, you know, you understand, like, the the problem that's been coming on here, but there's a couple more tweets that I did want to take a look at over here. I will bring you to this next post by Hiatus Bedwritten. People making a problem about Stellar Blade seem to have forgotten that it's fiction. It doesn't matter if it's not realistic. It's the very point of making fictional characters. You can do what you want to create. It's very much the same with drawing. And this is another thing that is very important to note, and that's something that I did want to talk about because you see the same topic of conversation brought up every time you see, like, a Wonder Woman movie, for example. You have the entire world watching Wonder Woman because of you see this really good-looking woman coming in and doing superhero things. It appeals to the male gaze. I don't know why that's so tough to say. It appeals to the male gaze. It appeals to the male gaze so well in the sense where a lot of men like watching action, exploding things, big fight scenes, and if you have the main character being just a woman that looks really nice, this is the problem that you've had with so many movies recently where it's just not hitting the mark. This is why so many different anime shows do well, because they actually make this really cool character. And Stellar Blade, from what I've heard personally, I haven't been able to play the game, or to be honest with you, I have no intention of playing the game, but I have heard that the gameplay for it actually is really good. It doesn't have to be realistic. There's this huge push, especially over in the West right now, to make things more realistic. Let me bring you back to that Harley Quinn. Actually, I want to see if I can find that Harley Quinn for you over here. Harley Quinn. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't find it myself, and you're not going to be able to see it in this video. I tried typing in a bunch of things. I ended up trying, like, what happened to Harley Quinn, because you could see back in the day, the Harley Quinn model looked so good, but now there's this push to make Harley Quinn a little bit more realistic, and the character ended up being really ugly. Apologies for not being able to find that for you, but there is a couple more tweets that I did want to take a look at for you over here. Excuse me for just a moment. It is a tweet over by Beast Gamer Kuma. And apologies, guys, I'm not familiar with some of these usernames over here, but you can see the game actually looks really nice. It's not just the character. You can see the monster looks nice, the environment looks nice. On another note, to the people complaining about only seeing the sexual side of Stellar Blade and no gameplay, that is a you problem. Either you need better people to follow, or you are looking for only the sexual things to see, because the gamers I know are only showing combat. Be better and stop bitching. Have a nice day. Be stout. This is an... And yeah, you have always the comments coming over here, right? But there is a lot of people actually really talking about the gameplay for this actually being nice. So when it comes to being a gamer and actually liking the gameplay of Stellar Blade, I see no issue with it at all if the character is a little bit appeasing. But we do have a couple more tweets that I did want to take a look at for you over here, and this is by a user named Selena. Needless to say, I have zero problem with giving characters sexy outfits in Stellar Blade. I think most of them look pretty cool, if anything. What I'm more concerned about is the story. The overall plot itself isn't new, so I'm really interested to see how it will branch out from its own unique story. And according to a lot of users playing the game, and I'm hoping to God, which is a strong possibility, that it isn't just people simping over their character and loving the game just because of the model, just because of the character. That's a little bit of an issue, but I've seen, from the clips that I've seen, it doesn't matter if it's not necessarily a brand new idea, how many times have, and I'm not saying this is a zombie game, I'm saying, like, how many times have we seen the zombie genre come in different movies, TV shows, games? For example, a show that I'm watching right now is Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. It's an anime show, and it's another take on a type of zombie movie. How many times have we seen this done? It doesn't matter. It's a new, unique story. I enjoy it. They make it good. It doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be unique. So Stellar Blade seems to have done very well in that entire kind of category over there. And there's one more tweet that I wanted to take a look at, and then we'll have some closing remarks. And again, guys, I would love to know what you guys think down below about this. After, oh my god. Okay, again, I have to make sure music's off for all of this. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this type of video, switching between scenes and all of that. I hope you guys still enjoy the video. So if I'm playing this video, we're gonna have no audio. It's muted. Look, it's a real adult woman, not a child, teen, and especially not fake. Devs choose a good-looking model for their game. All this hate for her and the character who isn't any different, it needs to stop. OP rocks, thanks for showing this, and I haven't seen this tweet over here, excuse me. Now, what is important to note is this character, this model, was the actual base for the Stellar Blade character. This is a real person they've based it off of, so a lot of the criticisms that you guys are seeing online is people saying that this is unrealistic and this isn't what a real woman looks like, and people out there really do exist, especially over in the east. Over here where I live up north, I don't know how else to say it. Like, people aren't nearly as attractive. They actually, and I hope I don't want to get copyrighted for that, so I'm going to leave it there. But the point being, people screaming that this isn't realistic. It's setting unrealistic bodily expectations for women. It's very obtainable. It's true. All you have to do is really, of course, it's a little bit exaggerated. It is extremely difficult. Not everybody can do it, but these people exist. Look, they base the model off of an exact figure. Now, for the physics of the character, that's something that I don't know if you can necessarily work on. That's something that was probably exaggerated by the game, but you have a lot of people really whining and crying about it not being real. It doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's real. Like I pointed about Wonder Woman earlier. People just want to see something pleasing to look at. Let me point it out to you guys, okay? When you play a game, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's any third-person shooter type game, what character do you use? More often than not, you are using a female character just because it's nicer to look at. And like the Act Man said, it is a marketing tactic that has worked for so long. Now, it is important to note, while this, for those of you who do follow my channel, my opinions that I've been giving here might go against some of my more worldviews that you might be familiar with, especially things that I've talked about on the channel over here. I don't see this as an issue, especially if it's just a game, if it's media. I see this as an absolute issue if you are playing the game just as simple for the character, and especially, God forbid, you start to become actually, like, really attracted for real to this character. I see nothing wrong with just making a good-looking character to having a good-looking game. I see nothing wrong with that. It's just the beauty of the game. People like seeing attractive people. It doesn't really matter. I don't see a problem with that. I see an issue if you start looking at, the Rule 34 type stuff. If you actually start to get some sort of, I don't even know how to say it, weird looking feelings towards the character that you're playing as. That's not okay. That's not okay at all. But I don't see anything wrong with just appeasing to the male gaze in that sense. It's media. It's a marketing tactic that has always worked throughout time, and I don't see any reason as to why you should just plop a guy in there or plop somebody in there who's a little bit more ugly. I don't understand, and it doesn't make sense. If you were making a game, would you really put somebody ugly in there? No. Look at what Stellar Blade has drawn up throughout the internet. I know what Stellar Blade now is because of this. It doesn't matter. I would have never heard about Stellar Blade if it wasn't for this. It is a marketing tactic that has worked for so long. It's based off a real woman. You know what? I'm glad that it's based off of a real adult woman, because there have been so many different disgusting things that I have seen in different anime shows, games, where companies end up sexualizing people that end up looking a little childish. I think that's horrible. I think that's disgusting, and I think that needs to be taken a look at for the people who have actually been building it. It's unforgivable, it's gross, it's disgusting, and I hate the fact that there is a market out there where people actually do that. People are going against, and people are kind of roping that into the same category, because people over here in the West are always talking about this, always talking about the Wonder Woman movies, always talking about how unrealistic it is, and why can't you put somebody a little bit more realistic, somebody ugly in there? Who's going to go to a movie where it has to be one hell of a movie, by the way. It has to be one hell of a movie if you have an ugly person front and center that you're playing with. At the end of the day, nobody just wants to, if you're appealing to the male gaze, if you have a bunch of guys playing your video game, if you have a bunch of guys watching your movie, what are you going to do? You're going to put an attractive woman in there. That just makes sense. That's the reality of the world that we live in. Just like Ackman said, it's just the way it is. It doesn't make sense to change it. I like the fact that the character is based off of a real adult woman. I think that is actually progress, and it's disgusting to say that it's unfortunate to be progress in this community, because you have so many games, again, kind of having younger people being a little bit more sexualized. I think it's horrible. And I like the fact that it's based off of a real woman, and if you really, really want to look at that, that is actually obtainable, because, again, this person exists, and I want to bring you know what? I'll bring you over to the model again. I'll bring you right over to the model. This is absolutely obtainable. Oh my god, the music again. Here we go. Okay, we're good. This is absolutely obtainable. It looks like the character. It's just a regular person. Just over here in the West, we don't have so many people like this anymore. It's just a regular, look at this. It's a regular person. And the character is based off of that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. It's just like any movie that you put in. You want to take a look and put the shoe on the other foot. Oh crap, I can't remember the rom-com movie. I just watched it. Anyone But You. What does that appease to? The female gaze. What did you do there? You had the most cheesy dialogue I've ever heard in my life. Everybody ended up loving each other in the end. The guy sims over the women the entire movie. He finds out that he was actually in love with her the entire time. Isn't that a little bit unrealistic? Yeah. It's incredibly unrealistic. It's ridiculous. It's to the point where it's ridiculous, but at the end of the day, that appeals to the female gaze. That appeals to what women want. Take a look at why is 50 Shades of Grey, The Notebook, been so well selling. It appeals to the female gaze. I don't know why I have such a problem saying that. This video's kind of been all over the place, guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are making a movie, you make a love story, the guy falls in love with the woman over the course of the movie and then always realize that he wanted her the entire time. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but I'm not storming out here saying, no, you know what? That's so unrealistic. Why can't we have a short little fat dude over there? Why does it have to be some tall guy with muscles? It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. What woman would go to watch that? They would just look at it as creepy. It's kind of the same thing over here. You have games and movies that appeal to the male gaze, and you have movies, films, games that appeal to the female gaze. Not so much games, but you get the point. There's nothing wrong with appeasing your target audience. And again, once you start, and I need to make this incredibly important, I really, really don't want you to get the wrong idea of how I feel. I don't like the fact that there is stuff like Rule 34 being made about this. I think that's disgusting. I think anybody thinking about playing with themselves to this type of stuff really needs to get some help. Anybody who just takes this, gets excited, goes over to some adult content, I think they need some help. I think that's not okay. I think that's ridiculous, and I think they should be ashamed of themselves. But for movies, games, anybody making this type of stuff appealing to their target audience, I don't see an issue with. If Stellar Blade was just some sort of like pornographic type game where nothing was there except for you to drool over your character, then yeah, you know what? I'd be against that. I think that's ridiculous, and I think that destroys society. But to have a good-looking character just in a game that's well played, in a game with a story, in a game with good graphics all around, it's not just the character. I see nothing wrong with that personally. I would love to know what you guys think down below. Thank you so much for watching. Check out this video on screen right now talking about an evil Twitch streamer degrading your mod. It's a very interesting conversation. Been trending a long time ago. Take care, everybody.